While life too often deals us grievous blows, the breakup that broke your heart, the child that was not born healthy. I'm not sure what has hurt you deeply, but friend, Christ is worthy of our worship and our joy and our trust. Now we have here David dealing with unconsolable grief. David's just absolutely broken and ruined. We see this in verse 33 of chapter 18 and then in verse 1 of chapter 19. And the king was deeply moved and went up to the chamber over the gate and wept. And as he went, he said, "Oh, my son Absalom, my son Absalom, would I have died instead of you? Oh, Absalom, my son, my son." Chapter 19, verse 1 continues. It was told to Joab, "Behold, the king is weeping and mourning for Absalom." So the victory that day was turned into mourning for all the people, for the day the people had heard of it. The king is grieving for his son. Verse 4, he's crying out again, "My son Absalom, my son Absalom." His unconsolable grief, broken and incapable of responding. David's unhinged sorrow. David's sorrow was unhinged from reality, unhinged from what's true. David's sorrow was unhinged from God. And I hope that nobody here has been dealt such a significant blow in your life that you're dealing with unhinged grief and unconsolable trouble. I understand that life has been very, very difficult to many of you. I hope that you have the resources in the scriptures to actually manage and deal with that grief. How to receive the promises of God, how to receive the release of, I don't have to understand. It's impossible to understand so many things. I'm trusting in you. The release of a trust that says, God, you're going to reconcile everything, and I trust you for that. I can't reconcile my bank account, let alone everything. I trust in you. What's fascinating here is David's irresponsibility also. It's so interesting in this passage. For all the journey up until this point with David, all these chapters, and from his youth all the way up, from when he was a teenager, David is the protagonist. He's acting, he's engaging, he's making it happening. But in 2 Samuel 18, in this passage, he's almost entirely passive. David had slayed the Philistines in his youth. He had rushed to the front to confront Goliath by himself in fury and passionate action. He had engaged Saul many times. He had fought all of his battles. But now he's almost entirely passive in this entire narrative. Joab is active, Absalom's active, and David's just reacting. Well, friends, we need to trust in God actively. Now we see mighty David, a slobbering mess, in victory. They had won the victory. A slobbering mess, dishonoring those that were loyal to him and loyal to God. Friends, if you have a grief or a trouble in your life from years ago, address it. Do not ignore the festering boil. Christ is grace to us. He's 1,000 charms. He's a treasure worth all of our time, all of our care, all of our attention. While life too often deals us grievous blows, the breakup that broke your heart, the child that was not born healthy, the child that you raised that did not follow the Lord, the betrayal of a relationship, the breaking of a financial partnership. I'm not sure what has hurt you deeply, but friend, Christ is worthy of our worship and our joy and our trust. And I'm going to encourage you to get beyond the dimensions of that loss into the atmosphere of trust, worship, eternity, service, and love for God. Christ is the great treasure worth it all. And when you face that grief, it's not just to wipe it away and say, well, I'm going to love Jesus instead. It's a process of actually letting go of all of that, letting go of that pain and letting go of that, dealing with it, facing it. David wouldn't face it until it was too late. It was weeks ago that I read this passage and I thought, goodness, what an absolute waste. Instead of weeping over what is lost, how about David had worked for what was good? Christ is our great satisfaction and the great treasure of all. He's the cure-all. Christ doesn't so much provide the cure as he is the cure. If you are doubting, look to Christ. He is our hope. If you're despairing, look to Christ. He is your light. If you're skeptical, look to Christ. Gazing at Christ is how faith is built. If you are sinning, look to Christ. If you're broken, look to Christ. He specializes in healing and putting together broken hearts. Whatever you're facing, whatever grief is in front of you, yes, indeed, Christ is enough. I don't offer you the salves or solutions of a certain process. I offer you a Savior that will heal your heart if you turn away from that grievous, troubling reality and turn towards your great and gracious King who will bless you greatly. I understand that how to do that is not apparent. That's why we have life groups. That's why we have disciple making. It's because you're sitting there going, I don't know how to do that. None of us do. But we have biblical relationships, life groups, and we're in each other's lives in ministry so that we can then foster that together.